play into that, but
start it off.
Okay. Did I actually just start it off?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, then nobody will have said what I said. I think that a lot of what smaller businesses and highly connected businesses, if I'm not just making up a word, can do is really closely parallels what our strengths are as a state. Our real strength as a state, we have found in terms of bringing businesses in here and sort of taking care of the ones we have, is the fact that we're smaller, we're able to be very...
Serving the unemployed and the dislocated. We did a great job getting them benefits. We even did a great job getting them assessed and getting into some training. And we were doing a fabulous job with people that had disabilities and getting them employed. The one part of the stool that none of us were paying a heck of a lot of attention to was the business community. They were sitting out there and there was very little correspondence, very little communication. So one of the things that we finally got on board and put this business services group, and we're now going out.
This is an amazing dialogue. I will ask the panelists, though, for next steps in both healthcare and in job creation. Who wants to start?
Yes, since we started over there last time.
You ready, Matt? All right.
So I guess we had a lot of talk about, in terms of jobs, about trying to bring things back to local that, there was a lot of questions aimed at what is our state government doing, but a lot about what can we do specifically. That we can't always rely on big businesses to come into the state and everything like that, but we also have to invest in our entrepreneurs and everything like this. And a lot of, I think, what the problems they're facing is social networking, is trying to get the word out there of what their needs are, how to crowdsource like we are today, trying to find solutions from people without, breaking the bank on it. And especially in a small state like Delaware, where we can't have these kinds of sit-downs, where we can't have all these dialogues up and down the state that the governor was having, town hall meetings and things like this, I think that social media can really help with community development in that aspect. In terms of healthcare, there's a lot of different opinions out there, and a lot of different models that may or may not work and need to be hashed out. And I think that the government officials here today can speak to a lot more about that than I can. So I'll pass the mic down. Thank you.
Well, I can only tell you what we're doing at the Department of Labor. I think we've improved tremendously, but we still have a long ways to go. With the job squad, as the governor's called it, working as it is right now, we've got a couple initiatives that we're doing that are technology-based. When you come into the Delaware Department of Labor and sign up for unemployment, you used to go and sit there and have a nice young lady and she'd type down all your information. By law, you have to go to DET for employment and training for an assessment. You would go over there and there would be a nice little lady who would type all your information. And then if you happen to have a disability, you would go over to DVR and another nice little individual would type all your information. Now, I can't spell computers. Computers are long past me. But I'm even bright enough to realize doing the same clerical function 3 times was absolutely stupid. So we have now rolled out an online application process. The first thing we did was go online for your filing of unemployment. You no longer have to come to the office. You can do it online. But the second part of that meant you still had to come back because DET would bring you back. And one of the great things about being a federally funded organization, and we're a $60 million budget. I get $6 million from the state. The rest of our money's come from the feds. So we have to jump through all the hoops that the feds put to us. Well, when we rolled the online application for UI out, they thought it was a great idea. And if we could have captured another 6 fields of information, we would have the same application for DET. But since one pot of money has to talk to another pot of money, and anyway, we couldn't do it. So we wound up finding some way of adding at the bottom of the application. You don't have to file this other part, but if you do it, you don't have to come to DET either. So that's worked. Well, starting next month, we will be taking everything online at the counter. So even if you come in, that information will be immediately inputted into the computer. It will be immediately sent over to DET. So when you go over there, they will have all your information. Now, why are we doing it? We're doing it because hopefully we're going to be able to replace some of the clerical people, not remove them or retire them or get them out of the system. But just think, won't it be great if we can eliminate 6 or 8 people and have them move from clerical to doing something like getting on the phone, finding jobs for the people who really need it? So we're still looking at our operations. We're going to continue to make some improvements, and I think in a very short period of time you're going to see our effectiveness and efficiencies improve substantially.
As far as social media is concerned, social means communication. It really is the bottom line. It does never, ever replace face-to-face. What social media does, and especially as I've noticed in Delaware, just in the time I've been involved, is it increases face-to-face opportunities. And it makes them easier because you already know the person that you're speaking to. You've met them. You understand who they are. That, by far and away, should make anything we discuss in this state easier from this point forward. That is the impact of social media in Delaware. It takes down the insular walls of this is the way things have always been done and makes them something new as a starting block for the things the way they can be. When it comes down to job search, everything's online. Even the applications through Department of Labor now, which is great. But I will tell you honestly, we have a long way to go. And we network as much as we can in the unemployed, underemployed communities to connect people to other people. Social media does that. That's where the revolution is beginning. When it comes to healthcare, well, let's just say this. I'm worried about 2014. Because by that time, now it becomes an entitlement program. And that's not so good. As far as I'm concerned, health insurance becoming an entitlement doesn't keep people healthy. Healthcare is an individual responsibility. Healthcare is essential only when it becomes that catastrophic point where I can't support myself. I can do the out-of-pocket stuff, I can't do the rest of it. So, thank you. When it comes down to whether or not I need an entitlement program versus a program that's actually going to prevent me from suffering catastrophic loss, I'll take the program for the prevention of catastrophic loss every time. Just my thoughts.
Thanks, Laurie. I'd really like to echo a lot of Laurie's comments. Obviously, taking a look at recent world history, look at Egypt. I mean, that literal revolution was fueled largely by social media. That's because the traditional media had been shut down. Now, obviously, our traditional media is alive and well and all over the place, and you can't go anywhere without flipping through 200 channels and 60 news sources and internet and everything else. But that social media can be an important component in communication about shared goals, shared frustrations, ideas for improvement, job opportunities, and as Laurie said, I have found in Delaware that impersonal computer communication has broadened my personal network incredibly. I mean, looking out to the audience, I see at least 5 instances of I met people online before I met them in person, and it was easier to develop that relationship in person after we had spoken or communicated online. And what a remarkable tool that is. Now, is it going to solve all the problems? No. But it is an incredible way of communicating in a world where we have all sorts of communication sources thrown at us. Well, this allows you to network with people with shared goals, shared frustrations, shared ambitions. And I think it's a valuable tool in solving some of these, or working to solve the unemployment, the underemployment, and the health insurance phenomenon that's out there. We need to address these, and social media can be the start of an important revolution on that topic.
On behalf of the governor, let me discourage you from strictly adopting the Egyptian model of revolution. In terms of being very practical, from my perspective, on the jobs front, just going back to what I said earlier, if you have a company here in Delaware that's got a problem, if you know of a company or that's looking to expand, or a company over state lines that's thinking about moving here, then contact me, and I'll grab Alan Levin, I'll throw him in the back of my car, and we will go out and, or maybe help him into the back of my car. I'm not going to throw him. And we'll go out there and we'll talk to him. I mean, and we've done it, and we will do it again. And as John said, 3 jobs. We'll go do that for a company that's talking about 3 jobs, 30 jobs, 300 jobs. That is just a primary focus for us. And to the extent that you can be, letting us know about those things, we'll be on it. And as Candace did today, to the extent that we've got things that are somehow impeding business in Delaware at the state level, then it helps to know about that too, because we don't want that. And if you let us know about it, then we will jump on it. And Monday morning, then I'm going to be inquiring into the issue that was brought up here today. So on that front, I think that's the best possible thing that can be done going forward, because I really don't think we could ratchet any higher the motivation that we have at the state level to do well on that front. And on the healthcare front, there's going to be an increased amount of effort to try to get input. The federal healthcare law says what it says, and and just as with Medicaid and the CHIP program, we're operating under the umbrella of what it says, but there's a lot of discretion that we have under that umbrella. And as we move ahead and try to figure out how best to do this to fit Delaware, to the extent that you can help us with that, and particularly for small business, let us know, what the best way, or at least what the least bad way, depending upon your perspective of it, is to do it. I think that would be very helpful. And on this healthy lifestyle front, again, we haven't found the silver bullet. And to the extent that somebody's got, if not the silver bullet, 1/100th of a silver bullet that's going to help us make some progress down the road, we would love to know about that. Because again, there's no lack of effort, and there are resources at the state level that are available to direct towards it. But I'm not convinced, as I said, that we have really fixed on exactly the right way to communicate the message. So I think there's an awful lot of opportunity to work together going forward on both of those fronts.
Will you join me in giving them a round of applause for joining us today?